So let's go straight to CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes to discuss this and some new polling, Nancy. But we're going to start with Vice President Harris meeting with a member of the Israeli War Cabinet in Washington today. What is the administration hoping to accomplish?
Well, that'll be an interesting meeting, Anne Marie, because of what the vice president said over the weekend, really talking about Israel's war against Hamas in the harshest terms we've heard from her since the war began back in October, arguing that the citizens of Gaza are experiencing a humanitarian catastrophe. She said what we're seeing every day in Gaza is devastating. She talked about reports of families eating leaves or animal feed just to stay alive. And so there's no question that the administration is feeling a lot of pressure from within this country, from people within their own party and outside the party who are very frustrated about the pace of this war and what it is doing to the people of Gaza. And so that's something that she's likely to communicate to the leader of the war cabinet today. Now, make no mistake, she was tough on Hamas in that speech as well. She argued that a ceasefire deal is on the table and that Hamas is holding the deal up. It's not a one-sided argument that she is making, but certainly she is, as the number two in this administration, is talking tougher about Israel than she ever has before.
All right, so let's flip over to domestic politics now. Some new CBS News polling. It shows that Donald Trump is leading President Biden nationally by 4 points in a hypothetical matchup. And there's polling from the New York Times that found many Americans still view Biden as too old to be an effective leader. I'm pretty sure the Biden campaign has their kind of pat response to this because this has been coming up over and over again. But what are we hearing from the campaign?
Lots of frustration from the campaign and from the White House itself over the weekend, Anne Marie. They argue that the spotlight is being shined on the president's perceived weaknesses and not so much on Trump's perceived weaknesses. They don't like the fact that this question was asked in the New York Times, is President Biden just too old? In fact, an ally of the White House argued, how come you aren't asking, is former President Trump just too bad for democracy? And then that got some support from a White House spokesperson here over the weekend. So, they argue that a lot of their voters are still kind of waking up to this race and the fact that former President Trump will be the Republican nominee. There hasn't been much of a primary on the Democratic side, and their argument all along, as you know, has been that those polls will begin to shift as their voters get engaged. But certainly it is cause for concern as they see one poll after the next showing that the former president is in the lead.
All right. And the president will be giving his State of the Union address Thursday night. What can we expect him to highlight?
Well, we know that he is going to talk about what he's accomplished in the last 3 years. This is one of his best opportunities with everyone watching to kind of lay out for the American people what it is that he has gotten done and what the status is of some of this legislation that has passed over the past 3 years, but, is still being implemented. And so people may not have necessarily seen the full results of his infrastructure bill, for example, or cuts to prescription drugs and the like. So he'll talk about that, and he'll talk about what he wants to do in the next year of his presidency, particularly when it comes to lowering health care premiums and preserving women's reproductive health rights.
All right, Nancy, thank you very much.
You're welcome.